For lesson 5.4, we're going to continue to factor, but today we're going to be factoring where our lead coefficient, that is the number in front of x squared, very well might be something different than a 1. And we're seeing that that's the case for this very first problem right here. You can see we have not a 1x squared, but a 3x squared. Now, honestly, whenever this happens, your factoring becomes way more complicated, especially if you're doing this by hand. Even so, if you're using technology like we're going to be doing. But look, let's use our graphing calculator to quickly get this thing going. What you can always do is just type in 3x squared plus a 5x, then minus a 2. And at this point, we can also just make sure we're in a standard 10 by 10 window. Most of you already have this set up and you don't have to do this step, but if you're ever in doubt, you can do it. Zoom 6, and you can see your graph taking place. Now, I think immediately you're going to notice that this does look a little bit different than some of the problems we've done before. You can see as I'm moving this cursor right over the calculator screen, it looks like we're around x equals -2. Remember, a quick way to check if that's the case is to hit trace. And I can just type in x equals -2, seeing this y value of 0, seeing that the cursor is flashing on the x-axis. That's what we want. This is what we were doing before. We quickly find out that, yes, x would equal -2. Now, there's another intercept, and of course, it's over here. And it might look like it's going through x equals 0. Now again, you can very quickly just press trace and then hit 0. And you're going to be disappointed this time. You're going to see that you're not on the x-axis. Your y value is not going to equal 0. You might wonder, what if x were to equal 1? Actually, that's going to be higher up. Now, if you look closely, it sure looks like our curve is going to cross between x equals 0 and x equals 1. So just trying to visually guess here hasn't been very successful. So what we talked about yesterday is the calculator has a tool under Second, Calculate, and we can come down here to the 0 button. And the 0 tool is a way to find where your curve crosses the x-axis. I'm going to hit enter, and we'll see that we have a left bound. Remember, we're always typing in -10. That's the far left edge in that standard window. Hit enter. Right bound, we're always going to be typing +10. Your guess? Well, it sure looked like we were crossing right by x equals 0. Not a bad guess, it just didn't work. Now look, even though we don't know exactly where that curve is crossing, the calculator now tells us it's 0.33333. Now, I'm sure you guys are looking at this saying, hey, 0.3 repeating, it's really 1/3. And you can pretty much know that this is x equals 1/3. I want to show you how the calculator can even get you a little more information right now. What we can do is hit Second, Quit, and you'll go to your home screen. When you press X, the last X value that was on the graphing screen comes up. You can see it's 0.3 repeating. What you can do is go to your Math menu, press Math, and the very first option says Convert to a Fraction. Like I said, we'd look at 0.3 repeating. I'm sure you guys would say, well, obviously that's 1/3. Just in case you have a fraction that you're not aware of, you can very quickly find it. So here we're going to see that x is equal to 1/3. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to recopy this down here just to give us a little bit of space. Yesterday, what we were seeing is we would add the opposite to get 0 on the right side, and we'd get x plus 2 equals 0. The thing is, with fractions, you might remember way at the beginning of the year, guys, what we started doing is very quickly we would more or less eliminate fractions. Let me tell you a great way to do that here. You could even cross multiply. Do that. You'd get 3x. Here you'll get 1 times 1, that's a 1. And you want to do that. You don't want to have a fraction in your factored form. Now we can minus a 1 from both sides. We'll have 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. Just want to point out to you that these two binomials will be your factored form. And hopefully that can really help you out for your final answer. It's 3x minus 1 times the quantity x plus 2. If you're ever wondering if that's right, you can go ahead and distribute and FOIL it out. I'm going to stop right here. We'll make other videos for these other examples, but we're just going problem by problem.